Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Superintendents Unplugged, In Depth with Davis, the podcast where we'll dive deep into the world of educational leadership. I'm your host, Addison Davis, and I'm thrilled to have you join me as we embark on the inspiring journey together. As a superintendent once myself, I understand the challenges and complexities that come with leading a school district. But what I've come to realize is that there's abundance of amazing work being done by superintendents all across our country. This podcast is a platform to shine a spotlight on their incredible accomplishments and innovative approaches. Each episode will bring you exclusive interviews and superintendents from various districts across our country, both big and small, urban and rural, as they share their personal stories, triumphs, and even their moments of vulnerability. We will explore the strategies they employ to tackle the ever-evolving landscape of education, from fostering equity and inclusivity to embracing technology and preparing students for their future. But this podcast isn't just about showcasing success. It's about fostering a community of educational leaders who can learn from one another, share their experiences, and collectively navigate the complexities of our role. We'll discuss the tough topics as well, the difficult decisions, and the innovative solutions that are transforming education for the better. So while you're an educator, a parent, a student, or simply someone who's passionate about education, this podcast is for you. Superintendents Unplugged is your behind-the-scenes pass to the world of educational leadership, where we uncover the stories that inspire, motivate, and empower every one of us. Get ready to be inspired, challenged, and entertained as we embark on this incredible journey together. I can't wait to introduce you to the remarkable superintendents who are changing the educational landscape one district at a time. Welcome to another episode of Superintendents Unplugged, In Depth with Davis. I'm your host, Addison Davis, here at AASA National Conference, and we have an awesome guest today from Ypsilanti. Thank you so very much, Doc, for being with us. Dr. Zachery-Ross has done really cool things across this nation, in Michigan, doing some cool things. How's it going so far at the conference?
You know, the conference is great. This is a wonderful time to not only learn from myself, but also to get information from colleagues, as well as just the networking is so important.
You talk about networking, right? I get a chance to watch you across the nation, right? We're always at the same scenes, always at the same engagements. People want to be around you. And, you know, and they want to learn from you. They want to pick your brain about processes, because let's go back to it. You've been a superintendent for how long?
13 years.
Okay, as well as I know, that doesn't happen anymore, right? 13 years is like, it doesn't exist. So for, you know, when I look at these places, whether we go to AASA, whether we go to council, they want to learn from you. And you've been a graceful mentor. How's that taking place? How, you know, so many you've engaged in. What's the importance of giving back?
You know, it's so important to continue to build these relationships and nurture them. When I'm mentoring someone, I actually am learning and growing for myself. It gives me a reflection to look in that mirror to say, am I doing what I'm asking them to do? Am I growing my capacity? And what can I do to support other leaders? Because we have to be in this.
Right.
And you know that important change only occurs when you got leadership in a district for 5 or more years. So this is not only important for me, but it's important for just our whole country as educational leaders. It's important that we have leaders who stay in the game, who are committed, and iron is sharpening iron. Yes. We're supporting one another.
It is a, you know, for me, I tip your hat. I mean, because running a school district within itself is so hard, but being able to expand and help others for them, because I know they burn your phone up, right? They calling you, you got board calling you, schools calling you, but mentees calling you, and you always make the time to do so. And like you said, it's creating a longer, stronger bench of practitioners, but they look at you as a trusted advisor. And, you know, when we get superintendents that we get, you know, we've learned so much. 13 years. Listen, I only did it for 9. So, you know what? My hat's off to you, Doc. 13 years of rich history. And that's before COVID, during COVID, post-COVID, involved in crazy politics, right? Lots of things have happened. So I can see why they want to lean in and lean on you. But, you know, for you, it's I see it. You enjoy it. The smiles on your face.
I love it. I love it. Because you know what? This is and can be a very lonely road. But I know I stand on the shoulders of people who mentored and supported me. I see that value in being able to have collaboration and think, because oftentimes they already have the talent, they have the gift and the answers. They just need a thought partner.
Right.
And so I just believe that if I afford myself to be open, then they're going to be open with me. And again, I just learned from these brilliant educators that we have across this nation. And we just have to continue to lift one another up so that we can build on our scholars, our amazing staff. We've got to be the ones that's focused and that continues to just have that vision and that energy to know that public education means something, that it's important for us as educational leaders to be thought of as just as highly as all these other professions. And it starts with our own vision of ourselves.
Absolutely. And, at who we are, what we, what we lead through, what we do it, but you do it so gracefully. And, there's always a smile on your face. You're always focused on helping others. And that leads into a lot of recognition. You've won some awards or two, and, talk about how it feels to be recognized across the nation as one of the best leaders.
Yeah, today is the Effie Jones luncheon. And to be given the Dr. Effie Jones Humanitarian Award last year across the nation of so many other people that are mentoring and supporting.
15,000 superintendents, and you're the one.
And that just reminds me that we value it, one. And then two, I have to continue to do this work because we see other people who are gaining and learning from it. And then when I'm just recently got the Women in Leadership for ASU GSB for doing AI, artificial intelligence. I do that and have that passion because I remember as a new superintendent, the district I was a part of wasn't teaching our students who have demographics like me, marginalized students, people who are in low poverty. They weren't teaching them how to use Grammarly.
Yeah.
And so people wonder, why are you so much into AI? Because most districts that are leading in this area are suburban, they have high incomes, and that's wonderful for those students. But for my students, it's more important even that they see me as a woman, me as a person of color, and a person who is involved and understands the struggles of those who have low socioeconomic status. It's us that need to continue to give them access, to continue to give them opportunity and help them to become global citizens.
And be that model. I mean, for you, when you talk about AI is one of the greatest idea generators out there. And for that to really help us, our job is to put policy, procedures, and to allow the students to thrive through it, allow administrators to thrive through it. And I love it. It should be exposed to every learner to be able to help them continue to compete in the four walls we call our classroom and outside as well. And so I'll be at ASU, GSB, being able to watch you do some cool things. The importance of AI is in front of us. We got so many school districts, Doc, that are staying on the backside of it. I think they're hurting kids. I think they're because you got teachers using it, you got administrators using it, you got superintendents using it. We should embrace it.
Absolutely. We learned, unfortunately, through all these social media pieces that we as educational leaders didn't teach our students how to use these methods properly. We didn't talk about the ethical considerations. We made mistakes. And so we can learn from the mistakes that we learned about TikTok and all these other things of how to use technology as a tool to support the wonderful instruction that's happening in our classrooms. And we have to lead and guide and provide directions to our scholars, provide directions to the staff, provide direction to our parents about how do we navigate, how do we continue to accelerate and innovate and connect to our scholars.
This passion, I can see why people want to gravitate to you, right? You're that war lives inside of you to really help kids, all students, every family to be able to wrap your arms around them, give them a sense of hope every single day. I feel it.
Yeah.
As we get into this work, one thing that the superintendency, you've seen it probably in the last, now more than ever, the last 4 or 5 years, superintendents having to be politically savvy. And now more than ever, and listen, a lot of people want to say, hey, I'm not going to be involved in it. I'm not going to be involved in legislation. I'm not going to be involved in delegation movements locally or at the federal level. I think now more than ever, we have to be for kids.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I was one of those people who said, I started off, I was a teacher. I've been in the classroom. I'm not into this politics. But what it is that if we're not involved, we know education best.
That's right.
And so we need to influence policy. It's our responsibility to call our senators, our legislators, to keep our local politicians informed about what is happening in our school, our data, what's happening, what our students are thinking about, and our families, and what's important to them. And we advocate for making sure that they're aligning policies to what is needed in our buildings and in our districts.
That's right. And I'd assume that you have your superintendent associations are galvanized together in Michigan to be able to help with that process as well.
Yeah, Michigan Association does a really nice job. And that's why you see me across the nation, because some of the things that we're dealing with, some of the things that we're dealing with, if we're not paying attention, it all ends up coming to all of our states.
That's right.
And so it's important to know what's happening in Minnesota, what's happening in the South, because those policies, unfortunately, will come to our districts. And if we don't know how it's impacting other scholars, other educators, then we won't be able to clearly articulate to our legislators why something should be advocated for, or why something should we say, no, absolutely, we're going to stand on the line for this. And this is going to be something that I'll lay on the railroad tracks for.
That's awesome. And it's got to happen, should happen. The other thing is that as we get into this, we see a lot of brand new superintendents across the nation. And I can tell you that, I heard the other day in Florida, we've had 73 brand new superintendents in the last 5 years, and we only have 67 districts. So, I mean, we've been moving through it. I probably contributed to that number as well, which is fine, going into the private sector. But what's the importance for those that are in the seat now that are fairly new? What are some words of wisdom that you can give them? Because as you mentor across this nation, so many great leaders, so many female leaders, because we need more female superintendents across the nation, because I have 2 daughters. They need to see themselves in someone else as they go to school every single day. So what do you give those leaders that are in the infancy of their superintendents? Any food for thought, any words of wisdom?
Absolutely. Number one, we're seeing this turnover, and we're seeing many of them coming straight from building administrator to superintendent. So right now, what they've got to do is, first of all, find out their own passion, what they are going to be standing for, and that they're going to be that calm and resilient person and be really in this work. It's not about just growth and get into the larger district, but really knowing who they are, knowing their identity and what their values are, what they're going to hold strong to. Right. And then next, really thinking about how do they get that feedback from their community, because they might have done the work to look at the board meetings and things, but until they really hear the voices from the parents, from the community members, understanding that where they serve and those things that are important to who they serve, it's a hard challenge to know, like, that whole why am I here, and keeping that focus on what's the thing in core instruction we need to connect to. So knowing themselves, knowing their community, and then next, building that network. Because like you talked about, I talk to people, I've learned from superintendents who've been in the seat. And if we're afraid to ask questions, if we're afraid to get thought partners about some decisions we're making, we make thousands of decisions every day. That's right. And how do we know that they're right? How do we know they're aligned to our purpose, to the purpose in our community, if we don't have a chance to reflect and get feedback from other leaders? Because it's important that they find those people in the network that are connected to them, related to the work they're doing. And so that's important, to find people that they can call on when they're really in that trouble space, because that's when they can make pivotal mistakes that will shorten their time in the superintendency.
Well said, Doc. I mean, it's good to have think partners internally, but I think think partners, as you said, have to be outside of it, because sometimes getting too close to the problem, you don't see the whole picture of it. But also, go into that trusted advisor such as you and say, you know what, this is what I'm dealing with. And you'll be able to say, and you'll be able to articulate, I've gone through this. This is what I've seen. This is the pitfalls. These are the celebrations. These are things to think about. That's only going to strengthen their decision-making as they move forward as a superintendent.
Absolutely.
Last thing I got to ask. You know what? You recruit people that come to work for you, and and they may give you a timeline like, I got 5 years left in me, but they end up saying 6 or 7 years, and they hang around. It says a lot about who you are as a leader. How does that happen?
You know what? Number one, when I talked about knowing who I am, I'm really clear about what I expect from myself and how I'm going to model it, and then what I expect for others. And so in our district, we talk a lot about that high rigor and high levels of support. And so I think when people see that we have a clear vision and that we're going to support them, we do a fail fest every year. And I'm the first one to say, listen, I made a mistake. It gives them the autonomy. It gives them the opportunity to push and to continue to innovate. And so when they see there's still some things that they have purpose for and passion about, and that they're going to be supported, they stay. Yeah. They stay, and they know that what they're doing makes a difference and it matters, and they're going to be supported, even when those decisions they make might not always end up with a wonderful fruition and outcome. They can trust it.
It's allowing individuals to fail, encourage them to be in that lab every single day, to have successes, but also to learn. And you've created that opportunity, and that's where people want to thrive every single day. It's due to your leadership. Well, Doc, what an awesome conversation today. Thank you for what you do. Thank you for your passion. I feel it right now. You made me want to come back, get down. I don't know if I can, but
I thank you. Let me thank you, because it's important to get the voices out of those of us who are currently leading. And so I appreciate that you've given this space and this opportunity, and that you're even right here with us. You're not just expecting us to always come to you. You're out here, and it's important that you are here getting that voice out, because people don't know the wonderful things that is happening in our buildings and in our classrooms and our districts across America. And they need to be able to believe in our educational system, because it makes us believe in our young folks. And that's truly where our heart needs to be as a country.
Yeah, well, thank you, Doc. I really appreciate it. You've heard it all today. Dr. Zachery-Ross being able to explain how she's built a systemic culture, but how she's been a national model for so many aspiring superintendents, so many female superintendents, male superintendents transition into this role, and helping them navigate through some of the toughest challenges every single day. If you want to be able to watch great things that are happening, connect with Doc, watch Doc. They're doing a great thing. So until next time, I look forward to seeing you in our classrooms. I'm Addison Davis.